Hello and welcome to the Perfect BA with your host, Riah Gonzalez. Super excited today. I have Sabine Schwartz with me, and she is an amazing business coach who helps specifically mompreneurs like myself become booked solid in their business. Sabine, thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you as well for having me here. It's really wonderful.
Will you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you help these moms in their business?
Yeah, I'm in Germany, in Berlin, and I have three sons under age 12. And I became a mompreneur, like an online business owner, and be more present with my family and have more time for myself as well and for my kids. And I always wanted to help other moms as well to being able to work from ever they want, even if it's in their own home or when they say, okay, I rent an office outside and go there, so that they can really live life on their own terms and having enough money to being able to buy whatever they want for their kids, for their family, for themselves, and not to always struggle with money and being afraid of opening the letterbox and getting all the bills and they're not able to pay them. And I really want to help moms being financially independent to raise wonderful families full of love and compassion and being able to work from everywhere they want to be. And I help moms at the beginning stages of their business to get more clients and to really be booked solid by having the right business strategies in place to work in a right order. Like, it sounds now a bit weird, but it's like just setting up the right systems and the right foundation and a strong business foundation, which makes it possible for them to not just work all the time without getting money, but just with not working so much and so hard, but working really smart and having the right structures in place that bring them clients on a consistent basis. And I use a mix of business coaching and rapid transformation therapy. And not so many people know about RTT, like, which is a short form of it. And it's basically a form of hypnosis and NLP. And it's super quick and effective. And you can just work on one issue, and one session is enough. You never need more than 3 sessions, no matter how big the problem is, which is really wonderful. And this is why I'm using it in my coaching business, because at every stage of my business coaching, they struggle with different phases. It can be like lack of confidence, fear of public speaking, for example, anxiety, procrastination, imposter syndrome, or even connecting with people online. Some are scared of it. And so RTT is then always so powerful to help them overcome all these blocks and being able to have a successful business by still having fun and enjoy their time.
It's so important. And I think, there are some days where I question my sanity and becoming an entrepreneur and a mom at the same time. But then there are days where I think, when would I ever have the ability to take off all the time that we do? I mean, we've been really blessed this year that we've kind of scored tickets for very inexpensive to different places. And so while my child is on vacation, we're planning all these vacations because we're getting them for like ridiculous prices. And so, like, for example, my child goes on midwinter break in a couple weeks, and we're going to Reno, Nevada, and never been there before, but we're spending an entire week there. And I'm scaling back on what I'm doing because of course I want to enjoy time with my family, but I am still doing some things for my business. And I can, I can work, like I can speak to my team, make sure they're doing well, train my new employee. I can, work on the show. I can do whatever I want, but I can scale back on how many calls I'm taking, which I'm taking none. Well, that's my, my hard stop is I'm not taking any calls. And we wouldn't have that flexibility if we didn't have this built-in structure of being an entrepreneur. But I think what gets lost sometimes and what is super important is that it's not all fun and games in that way if you don't have it set up correctly and you don't have the safety net of support that you need and the structure that you're talking about. Because I wish, like I say this sometimes to other people that come on the show, because I just wish I had you in the beginning, because so much of what I did and, still do, I have a strong foundation now, but it's trial and error, like that's expensive, first of all.
Yeah, really.
And it's exhausting because you're working very hard. And it's discouraging because you're not getting paid. And so
it's scary as well. When I was in
so
the beginning, I was often so scared and had sleepless nights because I was so afraid, or I felt like a failure that I didn't got clients when I started, because I just didn't knew better. I didn't knew what to do, and I thought I know it when I was starting and did so many mistakes. And so it's really good to have a coach from the beginning on.
Yes.
To help you do the right things.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, I always say this, you don't know what you don't know, right? Like when you work with somebody who has a system in place, and then, as you move forward with what I do, if you work with somebody who knows how to find the help that you need, you're less likely. It doesn't mean you're going to not make any mistakes. It doesn't mean you're not going to have trial and error, but you're less likely to fumble through it, blindly. And there is a component of, I think, that we don't talk about, especially if we have a partner, where we feel like we're a financial burden. Like where we, in pursuing this dream, we're draining our family. And I can't even imagine the multiplication of that if you are a single parent, and you have, all of that. And I can imagine that many single parents have to do double. They have to work in a traditional job and start their business on the side in earnest. So they're working 2 full-time jobs.
And it's so terrible and draining. And then you have never time for yourself, because the time you have, you give to your family, but not for yourself. And so, it's really stressful in the beginning with the business, when you're having still the 9 to 5 and need to figure out everything by yourself. And it's so wonderful to have a guidance and something where you feel safe, where you feel, okay, now I got a strategy, a system which I can easily follow, and I have somebody to talk about it who holds my hands, and then it's so much better. And for me, it was the time when I got a coach and RTT sessions. It was so helpful for myself.
That for me has been a common theme with my clients as well, in that they could do it themselves, right? They can do, there's nothing secret sauce. You could do research, you could even look up RTT, you could just get a separate RTT, provider. There's no secret sauce to what we do.
You can really do everything alone.
Right. However, there's something very different about having the personal support and guidance of somebody who's done this before ahead of you. And also you get better results because it's put together in a process that works. And that is matched in the VA matchmaking process, because you can find a Filipino VA. That's totally possible. But if you're running a business and you're a mom and you're giving to everybody else and you have no time for yourself, how much time do you have to effectively search for, sort through, and find the right VA for yourself? Maybe you score and you get somebody amazing, but the chances of that happening are pretty low. You're going to probably have a worse outcome. So I think the same happens in your business too, whereas like me, you could fumble through it and kind of figure it out, but it took some time. It took some time to put it in place, the boundaries that I needed. And that's something that's still to this day, and it's mostly with myself, not crossing boundaries myself. I don't need to respond to a client email at 10 o'clock at night.
So much from ourselves. When we are so type A personalities who always want to do everything and work all the time and have a strong a strong gene where you always think you always need to respond quickly and you need to do everything. That's really hard. So we always have to think about ourselves, how we behave, Especially when we have help, we need to give them space to help us and not just do everything alone, because that's for the VAs not good as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the specific challenges that mompreneurs have and how they can work with those challenges instead of against those challenges if they have support in place. And support can be anything. Sometimes sometimes mompreneurs are not ready yet for a VA. And sometimes they are, but what are some of the challenges that you see that they're coming up against?
Yeah, I can take myself as an example because when I started my business, I was already a mom. I had already 2 kids, and which were quite close together. They are just 1 year and 9 months apart, and it was so stressful. And now I have 3 kids, but this time I just had 2. And it was so stressful. And I had 2 businesses. I had my health coaching online business and a holiday apartment business. And with my health coaching business, the holiday apartment business was already running, but I had lots of work there to do as well. Then I had my health coaching business where I didn't know what to do. And I thought, okay, I listened to James Wedmore, and he said that he just straight from the beginning on, he got virtual assistants from the Philippines. And for him, it was the best investment in his business. And you should start with a VA, even in the beginning stages, because you can't be successful when you don't have the help. And so I got 1 VA for the holiday apartment business and 1 for my health coaching business. And this was such a big mistake. The one mistake was that I searched for them myself, and I got so many applications, like 300 or something like that, and had to sort through everything. And then the VAs which I got weren't really good. It was like everything I told them to do, they questioned everything, and I got so many back questions, even if I wrote everything out and very clearly, and I got even systems in my Trello board. I systemized everything. So I thought, okay, for them it should be good now. But yeah, it was just really difficult. They were not the right person for me, and I had lots of problems with them as well. And the biggest problem was that I spent lots of money there with the VAs. And I then didn't have the right business foundation. I didn't know where I was going, and I changed my niche again then during my journey, and then I couldn't use anything of the content they created and the graphic they created in the website and sales pages and everything. And everything needed to be recreated then. And this was the biggest mistake, that I got them alone without, and I think with your help it would be so amazing, because you're just doing all the work and you search for them and you got the right persons who are really a perfect match with your system you're having there. And then as well that I should have just been clear on my mission and on my niche and my target market before I get VAs. This is just, you just need at first really a strong business foundation. Before you do anything else, you need to know who you help, how you talk about your business, which systems you're having in place, which sales cycle you're implementing, and as well the product suite needs to be clear at first as well. What are you selling? And then you can have your help, like VAs, to help you really implement everything then, and then to be able to scale, which is so wonderful to do when you just do everything in the right order with the right help.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that you're right. Like, we do receive about, somewhere between 200 to 400 applications per job description.
Yeah.
So again, you can do it yourself, but a lot of times when people say, no, I don't want to pay your fee, I'll do it myself, then 2 weeks later, they're calling me and saying, Riah, never mind. I want to work with you because this is too much. And it is. But I think, the balance that we have to really set up for ourselves in this line between being a mom and being an entrepreneur. We have to present as a very professional woman, but we also have to be the soft and loving and kind mom that we are. And I also have my older 2 children are a year and 11 months apart.
Oh,
So I
sounds
also
stressful.
understand how is
Yeah.
it like having a baby and a big baby.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what
really.
it feels like. I was thinking, oh,
Yeah.
2 years is such a good gap. Like she'll be out of diapers. It'll
I
be so
thought so as
great.
well. Yeah, but it was really so. I mean, now it's good. They're all very close together, and now it's
Yes.
perfect. They're playing together, and they
Yes.
love each other. But in the beginning, it was
The
stressful,
beginning
of course.
is so hard.
Yeah.
And I like kudos to you for starting your business at that time. I could barely like hang on with working a traditional job in I worked in healthcare at the time for many years, and it just balancing the childcare because it's hard to find childcare for two kids in diapers because
Mm-hmm.
they consider them essentially a newborn, you know,
Oh,
because they're
really?
still in diapers.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find that, and so we had to find alternative schedules to minimize our childcare costs, and then they require so much attention
Yeah.
that I could not imagine holding client calls at the same time without having like a nanny, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then having a nanny would be like the same as hiring virtual assistants early. You're draining
Yeah.
them. Any money that you are making
Yeah.
is going to the nanny and the business. So
Mm.
you're essentially working for free.
Yeah.
So I think that's such a hard challenge. And then also just switching your mind from, and I still have that a little bit. My daughter is 12, my youngest daughter. So there's a
Yeah.
big gap between the older two and the youngest. But there's this switch that takes place that's challenging because you want to be in work mode. At least I do. I really
Mhm.
enjoy what I do. So it's hard
Yeah,
for me
me
to shut
too.
it off.
Yeah.
And I try really hard to do that and be present for her because she deserves it.
Yeah.
And and that's the whole reason. That's what keeps me going in this business, besides the
Yeah.
fact that I really enjoy it. What keeps me going is that we can go on trips and that I can take her for the weekend to go see her sister who lives in
Yeah.
California, or you know, we can watch a movie, you know, right when she gets home from school or whatever it might be. And I
Yeah.
don't
That's
get
such
it
a
right all the
freedom.
time. I really don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's the opportunity as you
Yeah.
learn and as you grow in that balance to do so. Where if I was commuting, I will tell you this. I may never, I mean, there may come a point where I decide to lay down the business and do something else, but I will
Yeah.
never commute again, ever.
Yeah. Me
Be-
never as well. No.
Because that's such wasted time that I could be either working, doing something that I love, or being with my family. But
Yeah. Yeah.
ideally
So
being
true.
with my family, because
Yeah.
it's just like when I think back on that, and there was a point where I live in the Seattle, Washington area, which is in the Pacific Northwest, like so the upper left part of the West Coast.
Yeah.
And so I commuted into the city, and it was like it's actually only like a 30 to 45-minute drive if there's no traffic, but
Yeah.
parking is impossible. So you have to take the light rail, which is sort of like an above ground subway,
Cool.
or you have to take the bus into town. And so it's like an hour to an hour and a half in.
Oh no, it's
And
pretty
so
long.
you're wasting 2 to 3 hours just riding on public transportation to get in,
Yeah.
or you're paying $30 a day in parking if you can find it.
Yeah. Oh no.
So it's
Yeah.
very challenging. And I think, you know, we have to balance out what is the benefit, you know, the cost versus the benefit of starting our own business, the stress that we experience, the feelings of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Who's going to want to hire me? I'm just me. I'm just a regular person. Like, what do I have to give
So
that's
many of my
special?
clients have this. Yeah, really,
Yes.
so many. Yeah,
Yes.
I think especially as women, we tend to be like that. And men I see often don't have it, even if they look the ugliest, they still think they're Prince Charming and they're so stunning and wonderful.
Yes.
And women just question themselves so much more, and many of my clients does. Yeah.
I can't remember if I am going to get it right, if it's mother's load or women's load, but they're talking about how even when we're in work mode or when we're in a different setting, we cannot relax. Like we have the weight of all of the things that need to be done on our shoulders. Like, did I do the laundry? Did I turn off the stove? Did I, like, am I giving them enough attention? Did they have homework? Did I check their homework? Did I need to talk to the teacher? Like all the things that we, think about, and we can never really relax. And I know that for me, I tend to plow through the day and do as much as I can, but it's when I lay down and I'm supposed to be resting, that my brain kind of quiets enough to like torture me. You know what I mean? Like, and so that support, yes, that support.
You have always so long to-do lists, and men just never have it. When I see my husband, he comes home and she's just relaxing and not thinking about everything. He is helping a lot, but he's not like me. I'm constantly thinking what I need to do. I am up all the time, walking through the house and doing here and there something and doing the laundry and cleaning something. I don't need to do it all the time, but it's just like, it's in a hamster wheel or something. I feel like I all constantly have to do something and have to move around. And this is, I miss so many, especially with moms. It's just like that. And when you have a business, then of course it gets even more and more overwhelming. And so I think it's extremely important to really outsource some stuff and just focus on the things you love and what keeps you inspired, and that you are the true leader of your business, and just all the things which you hate and which you don't like and where you're just not so good at. I mean, everybody has a zone of genius, and I'm definitely not good at final counting and taxes and everything. I really hate it. It's the tasks I really, really hate, because I'm very creative. I can create wonderful plans. I'm a visionary and more like that. And I can create wonderful funnels and everything and sales pages, but I'm not good at all the financial stuff. And so it's wonderful to have, I have my VA doing the final counting for me, for example, and putting everything together, but she's not paying the bills, but this is what I would love as well at one stage. But just like having somebody who's preparing all the final counting and the taxes and just creating all the Excel sheets and everything. So
and you have like much more complicated, I think, tax structure than we do in the US. I've helped a client in Berlin just organize invoices. And the structure and requirement of the invoices in Berlin, I was surprised that it had to be so like regimented in the way that it's numbered and everything. It's very complicated if you don't stay on top of it. It's probably not that bad if you stay on top of it, but it is very complicated if you don't. And that was one of the first things that I hired out. I actually was a virtual assistant as part of my business. In the beginning, I had a virtual assistant agency. And one of my clients, I did bookkeeping. So I'm absolutely capable of doing this for myself. However, it's not my favorite. And I don't know everything. So I could do simple bookkeeping. It was a very simple accounts with not a lot of transactions. So I have a lot coming in and coming out. And so I searched high and low, and I got a recommendation, and I had somebody, I first tried to hire a bookkeeper to train me on my own how to do it. And then I paid a bookkeeper here in the States, and it was for what we pay normally it was inexpensive. I think it was $250. Here, normally a bookkeeper is like $400 plus per month. And then I already had Filipino VAs, and I thought, I wonder if I could get a bookkeeper in the Philippines. And lo and behold, there are so many like CPAs in the Philippines that are QuickBooks certified or Xero certified or all those kinds of things. And so I found
they have such a good education in all different areas. It's really so fantastic.
So I was able to reduce my costs down to about $80 or $90 per month. instead of paying $250 a month. And what I get for that $80 or $90 a month is she does all of my bookkeeping. She takes care of all of my state tax filing. So she'll look it up, figure it out, and pay it for me. And she pays my bills.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so perfect. That's such a big help. If you're an entrepreneur, you have so many tasks on your plate. And so it's wonderful to just give it all away to somebody who's a professional and knows how to do it, and even the personal stuff as well. So this is really,
yes.
And I mean, if you think about it, it frees up so much time for yourself, which you can use in other things. You can go to the gym if you love, you can spend time with your kids. And even if you say, for example, like we did, my family and me, we said, okay, we want to go 2 years to Dubai. And we went there, we stayed there 2 years, and we just came back this July, or last July. And this was all possible because I have my business organized. I have my VA who helps me with all the financial stuff and other aspects as well, which is really wonderful. And I have everything streamlined, and I automate as much as possible. The rest I do myself or give it to my VA. And then you can be truly location independent, financially independent, and really scale.
Yeah. I think, sort of in closing, I think that what people need to understand is that even if they're not in the Philippines, you can get anything that you can imagine, you can get support in, whether that's bookkeeping, whether that's, I have somebody who helps me with personal stuff and the business. And so like I needed my oil changed in my car. So she sat on hold and scheduled. It's sometimes you sit on hold for 10 minutes. And I don't have time to sit on hold for 10 minutes, and she scheduled that for me, or support for a certain software or whatever it might be, where she's sitting on hold on chat or she's sitting on hold on the phone. And I don't have to, that's just time, like a time vortex for us to waste time on those things. And it's much more expensive to do those things. And that's what I really want people to understand, that both like the service you provide, the service I provide, and the concept of hiring out some of these things, if you don't do it, and this isn't a shameless plug, this is just reality, it is much more expensive to do it yourself by trial and error.
Yeah, really.
If you have a plan, if you have support, if you seek out support in other areas of your life, it's cheaper than trying to do it yourself.
Yeah, really.
And that's so important when we're looking at all these things that we've talked about in terms of challenges.
Yeah. This is what my husband was laughing in the beginning stages of my business all the time about me, because I said, no, my time is too valuable to do the house cleaning. We need to hire a cleaner, because I'm making so much more money when I'm working, and it's really a pity if I'm doing the house. It sounds strange. And he was laughing about it, because I was like, no, everything I'm doing what I don't like, and I'm spending it on random stuff where I can hire somebody else doing it. It takes me away from really making lots of money. And then I can just pay the money to somebody else doing it, and is so much better at me in this task as well. And it's just like a mindset shift, and it's not like you're a narcissist or you think you're something better than others. It's just that you really think about your value and the value you're giving and how many people you can help when you're spending your time wisely. When you say, okay, from this time and this time I'm working, I'm sitting at my desk, I'm doing my work, and I'm not doing all the random tasks around which somebody else can do. I'm just focusing on income generating activities, and the other stuff somebody else can take care of. And it's just like really thinking everything through and getting into another mindset of really valuing yourself a little bit more and respecting yourself more.
Yes, I 1,000% agree. And I think that's a fantastic place to wrap and to just let that settle in for people, and just know that your time is valuable and that you're not alone. And even if the help that you can afford at this time is to find a group of other mompreneurs that can support you and understand where you're coming from, that you can talk to, because it can be very lonely. That's a great place to start. And when you're able to get the support that you need, find Sabine or somebody else that can help you with the foundational things that you need in order to really move forward in a smart way to become booked solid. I think that's so, so important. So thank you so much for joining us on the show today. And
thank you for
we
having
will
me.
link all of Sabine's information in the show notes. So please reach out to her. I know she has usually a free introductory call to see if it would be a good fit. And we will link her socials and her website in the show notes. So check it out and see all of the fun goodies that she has for you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much as well.
All right. Thanks, guys. This has been another episode of The Perfect VA with Riah Gonzalez, and we will see you next time.